Here we go!
But that's okay because I played my Pope interview. Not only is she a great boxing reporter, but Michelle Joy Phelps is very easy on the eyes. Michelle, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a miscommunication there, but I'm here.
Oh, that's right. You thought you were supposed to be on at 15 after the hour, right?
Yeah, I did. I thought that I was going to get the phone call, but it's all good. I'm on the line.
Okay, let me give you a little weird tidbit about people on YouTube. I mean, I know that you're in other, mediums as well. Everybody on YouTube who's got their own channel usually doesn't give out their phone number. They'll give out their Twitter handle or something like that. So I don't think we've only been doing this for a couple of weeks, but I don't think we've had one guest that has given me a phone number to call. And we certainly didn't have yours, but have you noticed that too about people on YouTube?
No, I think that's kind of weird, to be honest, especially if you're going to be on doing a radio show. I mean, how are they supposed to reach you?
Yeah.
So strange.
Well, before we get into what you're all about, I'm hearing like this weird sort of echo in the background. I don't know if there's an in-studio something or other on. Oh, that's better. Anyway, tell us about your YouTube channel, Michelle. I guess you have 15,000 subscribers, and you are really into boxing. And what's the name of your boxing channel?
Well, the channel's named after me. It's Michelle Joy Phelps, but actually it sort of just happened. I never really went on YouTube thinking that anything was going to happen with my career in boxing. I just started blogging about various, fights and like the post coverage on it. And then I realized there was a bit of a following that started after that, and people actually liked listening to a woman talk about boxing. And, I'm really passionate, too. So, usually when I'm on a heated topic, I mean, you're going to know I'm really into it because I just, I'm a fan at the end of the day. I started as a fan. I'm always going to be a fan. And so I get it, when fight fans want to reach out and say, why didn't you ask this question or why didn't you say that? And I'm like, I wanted to, too, but you guys got to understand it's a business. We can't always say what we think. If that's the case, we'd all be fired. You know what I'm saying? None of us would have jobs today. But it just sort of happened, and one thing led to another. I started getting people reaching out, asking if I'd like to do coverage for them. So it really started as an intern position, and it grew from there. And I realized, you know what? There are no women doing this. And I didn't really understand why. I mean, I know women who like to watch sports, so I wasn't really quite sure. But it's been pretty cool, to see ringside. It was only just maybe two of us, two women, maybe three. And then now, you really see it growing, and it's really exciting. I think that more women should be getting involved. And, in fact, there's been a couple of girls I started to sort of help and mentor any way that I possibly can. But the YouTube channel just started. Like I said, it just sort of happened.
All right, we're talking to Michelle Joy Phelps. Michelle, can you hang on? We've got to go to a break, but I definitely want to get into this with you, and also the whole female boxing phenomenon. I want to ask you about Ronda Rousey when we get back, as we continue here with Drive Time with the Poorman. Drive Time with the Poorman returns. We are the official mainstream radio show of YouTube, and we interview every single day on this show a star of YouTube. Today we have a lady who's a boxing expert who is very easy on the eyes, you guys. Very, very hot. I'm sorry if I sound sexist saying that. I have to be honest. Michelle Joy Phelps. Find her on YouTube, and she is very serious about boxing. But you are very attractive, and anyway, does that ever conflict? Michelle, does that ever conflict with your reporting?
You cut off there just for a bit. Could you repeat what you said? I'm so sorry.
The fact that you're really pretty, does that ever conflict with your reporting in boxing?
I never wanted to believe that was the case. I know that like any person, when they're getting into an industry, they could, you're always going to come across, some difficulties. And I did realize that because, I do love, I know this sounds silly, but I love eyelashes, I love makeup, I love fashion. So when I show up, sometimes I might look like, really done up. And I'm not trying to do that to get attention. It's just who I've always been. And I think it took people a while to understand that it was just how I am, who I am, instead of me trying to attract somebody or something. But, now it's not an issue. I think now that everyone knows, that's Michelle. So, but yeah, in the beginning, I think that it was a bit of an issue. I was told several times over, you look too much like a girlfriend or a wife. And I didn't really understand that. But, look, I mean, this is how I look. I mean, it's not like I had surgery look like it. It's who I am. So I just had to learn to deal with it and embrace it and continue working hard to prove that, it's more than just that.
Somebody just texted me, are there hot babes mud wrestling and wild girl cat fight videos on your channel?
Oh, in your dreams, right? In your dreams.
Right. No, those are on my TV show, Poor Man's Bikini Beach, though. You can definitely catch that on that. I want to get into the Ronda Rousey. Have you ever interviewed Ronda Rousey?
No, she's in UFC and I'm in boxing. So
right. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, I get asked it often just because of the fact that, she's a woman and, my thoughts on, what she's done for women in combat sports in general. I think she's fantastic. I think that she represents what women are, can be strong and we can be beautiful and we can be, these, independent business-minded women and still be taken seriously. I think she's really, broke the grounds there for that. I just wish that we could see the same for women in boxing. We have beautiful women that are boxers, and I just don't understand why we don't see more women on fight cards. I mean, not even televised. I don't understand. In Mexico, it's a big thing, but here in America, we just don't see it ever.
But what's interesting, though, is with Ronda Rousey and UFC, she's like the biggest name there is, even bigger than the men now. I mean, she's huge. So it is working. Maybe there's nobody charismatic enough yet as a woman. For that matter, boxing really is in trouble at the moment, and I love boxing. Don't get me wrong. Every big fight I used to order all the time. But now that Floyd Mayweather's retired, I know you interviewed Vladimir Klitschko recently, but who's a big name anymore? I mean, in all honesty, I know you're pumping the sport, but is anybody a big name in boxing right now that's still fighting?
I think that we're in the process of building the big names because we do have like Canelo, we got Gennady Golovkin on the scene now. We have guys, yeah. I mean, Miguel Cotto's still, around, and I just think that I can see it from the casual perspective, people who maybe don't follow boxing religiously and don't watch it every Saturday. There is boxing on almost every single weekend or even throughout the week now. We got Fox Sports doing it. We got ESPN. We have TV. So it is, I want to say it's on a comeback, and I use air quotes when I say that because I never really thought it was gone anyways, but to maybe the casual fan, it was that way. And I think that was because it was, you had to have Showtime or HBO in order to watch it. But now it's on television, free television. So I think that we're going to be seeing it turn around within the next 2 years. I really do believe that. And in that time, people are going to become more familiar with the names. Back in the day, like when, Tyson would fight and stuff like that, we would see that stuff on television, but we don't see that anymore. I mean, we do now, but we didn't see that for a very long time. So in this case, I do think that it's on the rise. But then again, I never actually thought it was dead. I think it's kind of funny when people say that, but hey, I guess we're all entitled to our own opinion.
How many years have you been covering boxing?
Over 3 years. It's only been 3 years. And I would probably say 2.5 years full time. So it's very new in terms of like my career. It's very new to me. Before this, I had done print work and acting. So I never really, like I said, I never really saw this happening. It just started as a hobby. I love watching boxing. I would watch it with friends. I would go to the bars, get, have a few drinks. and just enjoy it. And now it's turned into this whole other thing, and it's actually quite amazing. I think that, when you hear people say you may want to go in one direction in life, but sometimes life takes you in its own direction, this is exactly what happened with me. I had one idea of what I was going to do with myself, and then this happened, and I love it. I get to travel the world. I get to interview the biggest stars in boxing, and it's been, seriously super exciting. I already have trips coming up: New York, London, or England, Manchester and London, as well as Australia. And, to be able to travel the world and cover the sport, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And what I want to do when we come back from the break, I noticed one of your videos, the one with Vladimir Klitschko, where you're talking about doping, has been removed. So we're with Michelle Joy Phelps. She's extremely beautiful, but she's a boxing reporter, and she is on YouTube if you want to look her up, Michelle Joy Phelps. I'm going to ask her why that video was taken down, and then I want to get into another interview she recently did as well. As we continue here with Drive Time with the Poor Man, Peter Dills is coming up. He's got a giveaway. Does anybody want my Pope shirt? Michelle, do you want my Pope shirt that I got? I saw the Pope today at Central Park, and I bought this shirt. I'm going to give it away before the end of the show. We'll be right back.
Have a question or a comment?
Okay, we are coming back here with Drive Time with the Poor Man. We got Michelle Joy Phelps, boxing reporter. That's her YouTube channel. And Michelle, you took down a interview you did yesterday, or maybe it was even earlier today, with Vladimir Klitschko, the heavyweight champion, where I guess you were talking about doping, and I wanted to watch it, but it said that video has been removed. What happened?
Oh, it's there.
Oh, it is?
It's there. I actually, while you said that, I thought, oh my God, did one of my admins remove it for some reason? And I just messaged them, and they said, no, it's there. I don't know. I'm looking myself, and it's still there.
Okay, well, it was weird because it said that video is unavailable when I tried to get it, but maybe I just did something wrong. I don't know.
It could have been just a connection. I don't know. Sometimes, oddly, stuff happens like that. But, it's funny because we release so many videos a day. And until you said that, I didn't realize it was even released today yet because we only release so many each day. So that's interesting. I didn't even know it was released myself.
Hey, who's... Yeah. Well, yeah, you're prolific with videos. Who's the biggest boxer you've interviewed in the 2.5 years that you've been doing this?
You know what? That's a good question. The biggest, I would probably say... I got a chance to ask, Marvin Hagler a few questions before, and that was, I was a bit intimidated. But I would say between that, obviously, interviewing Floyd Mayweather is always, he doesn't just give interviews to a bunch of people, so that was always nice. And, I don't know, I feel like I've interviewed every major star, I want to say.
Did you ever ask Floyd Mayweather about beating women?
Oh, my God. Do not do this to me live on the radio.
Yeah, no, I listen, we want honesty. So, please share that with us.
You know what? The reason why, number one, I never comment on that is because, even though he did go to jail and serve his time, you also have, the ex-girlfriend who's saying it didn't happen. So first she said it did, and then she said it didn't. So it's really hard, to believe someone who cries wolf. So in that case, people are probably going to be like, what, are you kidding me? Look, he served his time. Now, if he was over here doing this, we heard reports continuously, then there would be a problem. But, this happens, and he served his time, and she's going back and forth on the story, so who really knows what happened? I'm not TMZ. I could care less about his personal life. I just like to report. And, I like to stay in my lane and report on the sport, and that's it.
So when you interviewed him, you didn't ask him about that?
I didn't ask him anything. I didn't ask him anything like that. I think the closest thing to asking him about his personal life was, what he thought about. I want to say it was when he was getting ready to fight Robert Guerrero. And it was media week, and I asked him, during that All Access, he finally came out about, having multiple girlfriends. And I asked him about that, and he just basically said, it's my life. I'm happy. I'm blessed. And he's entitled to do what he wants. A lot of people have multiple girlfriends. They just don't actually admit it.
We've got somebody on the line right now, Dave Learman, who used to do some gossip reports for me, and I have no idea what he wants to ask you, Michelle. We got Michelle Joy Phelps on here, but if you're all right with that, I'll bring him on, and he has a question for you.
Hi.
Hey, Michelle. Hi.
Hi.
What do you think of CM Punk, Bill Brooks signing with the UFC? Do you think it's a publicity move, or do you think he really can compete?
Say that again. I'm sorry. Who signed with?
What do you think of CM Punk, from the WWE? Do you know CM Punk?
You know what, honey? I covered boxing.
She's a boxing reporter.
The wrestler, Brock Lesnar, the UFC champion.
I hear the
UFC,
yes.
CM Punk recently signed. I was wondering if you thought what you thought of UFC signing.
Oh, I am so sorry. What happened? The planes were circling overhead, and I can't believe the bomb got dropped. You know what? I talked about the Pope today, Michelle, and somebody ended up dropping a bomb. That's just not cool. I'm really upset.
I was like,
yes? Go ahead, Michelle. I think you were about to say something.
oh, no, I was a bit confused there. I wasn't sure what I was hearing exactly. I heard the wrestling and UFC, and I was like, don't cover either. Can't really have an opinion about anything I don't know.
And just think, you could have been enlightened if the bomb hadn't been dropped, right?
That's hilarious.
Well, at least it got
What's
you
up
off
with this Pope situation? You seriously got to meet the Pope today? Or
No,
see the Pope?
I didn't get to meet him. Are you kidding? If I
You
got
got
to
to
meet
see
him,
him.
I would have. Wow. If I got to meet the Pope, I would have interviewed him, and that would have gone viral.
Seriously, you would have been like the only human, the only person on radio to have ever interviewed the Pope.
Oh, it would have been huge. That's all we need on this show. Listen, having you on, Michelle Joy Phelps, obviously this interview will go viral. And by the way, Michelle, this is going to be posted within the next day on my new YouTube channel, which is called the YouTube Radio Show. So you'll be able to, so let everybody know. And the link is actually on my Facebook page, Jim Poorman Trenton. But I'm sure that our interview today is going to go viral, and I will be forever indebted to you coming on this show.
Well, thank you for having me, honestly. And I'm sorry there was miscommunication and I got on late. I apologize.
No, it was no big deal at all, honestly, because you did say 4:15 and or 15 after the hour, and it's honestly it's not that big of a deal. So anything before we go? I mean, obviously, I want you to plug your projects. I got one other quick question for you. You said you're flying all over the world to cover boxing. Are you making all this money from your YouTube channel?
You know what? It's several things: YouTube channel, sponsorships, and sponsorships. They're out there, man. They're really out there, and I only recently started to really utilize them. So we have sponsors lined up for each of the coming trips, and I'm being flown to Australia for actually a fashion event. There is a designer by the name of Amy Taylor Collections, and she has the most amazing evening dresses, and I'm going to be flown there for a fashion show and to discuss some business about some stuff. So that's more of like a business trip, not any boxing or anything like that. So pretty blessed, pretty lucky. I've never been to Australia, so to be able to get flown there and have everything covered, that's fantastic.
Good for you, because you start these YouTube channels, you get your own sponsors, and people don't realize how hard you have to work. Hey, thanks for being on the show, and again, you can go to Michelle Joy Phelps on YouTube and catch prolific amounts of boxing interviews. She does a great job. And thanks for being on Drive Time with the Poor Man.
Well, thank you for having me.